Alright guys, casting this game here at 1 a.m. Let's get this party started. It's Grand Cathay versus Khorne. Going to be the Dragon-Blooded Lord versus Skarbrand the Exiled. So certainly quite scary indeed. Now the real meta for Cathay against Khorne has been the double Terracotta Sentinel backed up by Miao Ying. Now the reason why this build is relatively steady against Khorne is because Khorne's intuitive answer against the double Terracotta Sentinel is going to be a bunch of halberds. Now if you're playing Cathay, what you do with Miao Ying is when the halberds blob up on your Terracotta Sentinel, you use the Talons of the Night to take them out, therefore allowing your Terracotta Sentinels to grind very cost effectively against Skarbrand, because two Terracotta Sentinels will certainly outtrade Skarbrand, especially backed up by Miao Ying, who's a really good fighter. But again, it doesn't guarantee victory. Like if the halberds aren't perfectly blobbed up, for example, like Khorne can really outtrade you in those big fights, and obviously the big Khornate demons are very, very scary, right? So trying something a little bit out of the box here. Obviously the Miao Ying double Terracotta has been my opening against, Khorne for a long time, but I've actually found on maps like this, the cannons really aren't bad. So we do have a Grand Cannon here to blast downtown at Skarbrand, backed up by Peasant Long Spearmen, double Longma Riders to kill Furies as well as Khorne Dogs and protect our artillery. And on top of that, we do have a Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yang to be dropping the Celestial Bombardments as well as the Jade Shield when we need it. So pretty fun build. I've really been enjoying Cathay quite a bit. Honestly, Kislev is like my main. If I'm like really sweaty, try hard in like a tournament situation, I'm going to play Kislev like every chance I get. But I really want to be like a Cathay player because I like their playstyle. And man, oh man, in land battles, Cathay is like so solid. It's just they do struggle without like the big uniform formations to like fight as effectively. Like I think the objective thing is troublesome. Like I've had a lot of builds with Cathay where I've been able to like outvalue Tzeentch players and Khorne players, but they still win on objectives because I'm taking such a defensive posture and trying to maintain uniform formations, right? But I think we'll find a solution eventually. I really do like Cathay and enjoy the faction quite a bit. And I think the main reason is because to me, they feel like the Empire. Like I love using their cannons. I mean, look at the value here. These Chaos Warriors of Khorne getting hammered pretty good by the cannonballs. Takes down 6 models and, they're going to keep singing and these halberds are going to be very beat up by the time they get here. Now, my first summon here is going to be a Jade Warrior Halberd. So these bad boys are going to be moving up to the high ground, and the idea and tactic here overall, my game plan, is to get the Jade Warrior Halberds and just like take a very defensive posture on number 3 and then just shoot him off 2 and eventually take that and try and win with the 2 cap. That's more or less the game plan. Skarbrand's obviously going to be a big problem, and I kind of started to feel this when he was getting close to my army. I was like, ooh, could I really like actually effectively stop Skarbrand here? The Peasant Long Spearmen, of course, can, fight him pretty cost effectively. But it looks like, oh, it's going to be a breath from Farbrand, and it gets into the Peasants taking out 16 models, 14 models, so that's pretty cost effective. Look at that. Puts him up to over 700 weapon strength with just 1 breath attack. And that's permanent, baby. That's really nice. So Skarbrand moves in and karate kicks a bunch of peasants, which is pretty great. Taking some notes there from Steven Seagal. Although Steven Seagal is more of like a judo chop type guy. Some sort of, just bullshit martial arts stuff. But Skarbrand just absolutely plows through the spears. And now I was like, okay, this is getting a little bit spicy. How do I deal with Skarbrand back here? He's on top of the cannon. Well, he's certainly going to be doing some work as the cannons will keep shooting. On the flanks, though, we get very cost-effective engagements. Peasant Horsemen roadblock Chaos Warhounds. Up in the sky, the Furies do get absolutely destroyed by the Longmas. And then Longmas are going to be going in after the Fleshhounds of Khorne. The other unit of Chaos Furies here are going to get hammered by the Longman Riders as well. And yeah, I'm taking a bit of an L here with Skarbrand beating down my cannon. But on that same note, these trades over on the sides are like mega good for me. Great Longman Riders are one of the few counters that Grand Cathay has against like the mobility of Khorne, and they can really, really just dominate the Fleshhounds of Khorne in combat. So to deal with Skarbrand, I summoned in some of these Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen. These guys have amazing armor piercing values, and kind of the idea is if Skarbrand moves back here to chase them, well, at least he's going to be back here fighting in no man's land instead of really like kind of playing the objectives and things like that. So they're going to be opening up in about 8 seconds. Skarbrand moving in and is going to be attacking the peasants. Once again, the dreaded karate kick of doom as the peasants just get punted into the Shadow Realm. They'll hold on like champs, and he does the atomic... who's the character in Super Smash Brothers who did that? Who like does the big like jump slam like that? Was that like Kirby or something? I can't remember. I haven't played that game in like probably like... Yeah, I played the original, but I haven't played any of the newer ones. But Dragon-Blooded Lord looking for some bombardments. Obviously, I need some of those guys to sit still. And the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen are able to kind of force back Skarbrand. And now that I've secured the flanks here, feeling pretty cozy. I think all my cannons did get hammered by Skarbrand. I noticed that when you attack artillery pieces with single entity models now, they actually much more effectively go after some of the artillery pieces. So maybe like dropping the artillery crews is the better play. I often don't do that with Cathay simply because I think I can like run away faster due to the fact that they're pulled by oxes. But here comes the first bombardment. Going to be dropping the base here on the old Chaos Warrior Halberds, and that was okay. Not the best, because it did do a bit of value damage against my peasants, but still bringing down the Chaos Warrior Halberds a notch doesn't hurt, because they are a very problematic unit. Now, the one cannon has gotten back online, so certainly a little bit of an overkill as it pertains to crew. And the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen do have the yin and yang, and will be moving up and dropping some heavy armor piercing. You guys are going to see. They're basically like shades in Total War Warhammer 2, but yeah, they're going to be unleashing a hellish salvo. And they do, I believe, have the yin and yang active? No, they don't. The spears have left, but still, these Chaos Warrior halberds should be sent into another dimension. Now, we have Objective 3. I have the 2 Longbow Riders kind of circling about, looking for value. Not too many great engagements for them, honestly. Chaos Warrior dual weapons will easily probably outtrade the Longbows due to their armor, so I'm just trying to like look for a pick, look for some mobility, and see where I can really get value. Now, an excellent play here for my opponent. He basically gets some bloodletters and sends him on a secret agent mission, and I didn't really see this because he'll dominate Jade Warrior Halberd super heavily in combat, so that's an opportunity for the Longbow Riders to like rear charge in and maybe get some like breaking on them. But I realize I'm falling behind in points. I was ahead for a moment because I captured my objective first here, but now I need to go for the middle. So we do summon in a Terracotta Sentinel, and he's going to be moving up to try and grind down the forces of Khorne, while the Celestial Crossbowmen do move up behind them, also going to be unleashing some hellish shots. Big man Skarbrand just being a problem, just lurking and threatening the rampage, as well as the breath attacks, all that scary stuff. But for the most part, it's the calm before the storm, and here comes the fire to counter the halberds. I do think that a big part of this matchup in trying to make Celestial or Cathay work against Khorne is maybe utilizing the Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen. I do like the Iron Hail Gunners, but their line of sight and their range is really problematic. They only have 90 range, so you have to get really close to Khorne, which is not what you want. I feel like these Celestial Dragon Crossbowmen are just like so much better, and they pack a big punch. They are really expensive though, which kind of sucks. You're also paying for a shield, so there are some things in their kit which is a little bit inefficient, but nonetheless. Khorne dogs here trying to get in. Looks like some basic Khorne dogs, yeah. And the peasants, as well as the great Longbow Riders, trying to hold them back. And a second Terracotta Sentinel's moving in, but a beautiful play from my opponent up here on the high ground here. He gets the Khorne dogs in, as well as, I believe, the Bloodletters. And my halberds are getting massacred pretty badly here, trying to fight back these doggos. Basically 2 units that are going to be very good against them. The Longbow Riders are going to be taking out the Furies and should be able to help on the objective here in a second. And this is what they're so good for. I mean, one Longbow Rider can easily shut down multiple Furies, and it's very cost effective, but Chaos Dual Weapons moving down, a little bit of an opportunity for me to maybe summon some Jade Warriors and start to waddle across, but in my experience, Cathay isn't really good at backcapping. They're more of a faction that is excellent at just like sitting on like 1 or 2 objectives and holding them, but as soon as you lose objectives with Cathay, I think of all the factions in the game, they have some of the hardest problems with actually wrestling objectives back, and Khorne actually threatening a triple cap right now. Up in the high ground, the Bloodletters and the Khorne dogs really just absolutely mulched my Jade Warriors right now, and we did a little bit of damage back. The Khorne dogs did take some damage from the halberds, which isn't a bad trade for me, but now we have to push them off, which is just like putting a big timer on me, basically, right? So the Peasant Archers are a good answer against the Bloodletters, but the Khorne dogs potentially can shut them down. And here in the middle, we do have the Royal Rumble happening, as the big Terracotta Man does get rampaged and is going to be battling here in Mortal Kombat versus Skarbrand the Exiled. It is the anime fight of the ages. I wonder if they actually have any synced animations. That'd be really cool. Actually watch this. Oh, you know, that kind of looked like a synced animation. That's pretty cool. He like jumped up in the sky and got whacked by the Sentinel. Okay, yeah, and he like blocked with the hand. It looks like these two actually do have a ton of synced animation. That's rad. So here the Jade Shield's going to be going down, and we do also threaten the back cap. So my opponent here, Professor Pone, does respond here with some Chaos Warriors with halberds as well as some dual weapons. And the Peasant Horsemen going to be camping on the objective, and the Fleshhounds of Khorne move into threat. So unfortunately for me, he is responding really quick to this, but it still baits these units up here instead of the middle, which does give me the opportunity to maybe recapture it. Now, I would say as far as the fighting goes, it's going pretty good. If I remember correctly, the value in this game, I actually was ahead on value by about 1,000 or 2,000. We were getting pretty cost-effective trades. Skarbrand was a little bit beat up, but my opponent is certainly playing, the objectives a little bit better than I am. And I don't know, that's partially because of my strategy. I've been trying to, get value and then capture, but it's certainly tough to recapture here with Cathay, but it looks like we are going to be able to do it in the middle as well as 1. So we're going to get 1 and 2, or 2 and 3 for sure, because there's no way they're going to be able to hold this one. And the double Terracottas here, even though he does have some halberds, we should be able to get them with the big men. And yeah, some of the guys are getting stomped by the Terracotta Sentinels despite the halberds. And a beautiful summon from my opponent here, getting the Bloodletters of Khorne on top of my very expensive crossbowmen. I was so excited to get in there. I was like, yes, finally, the crossbows are going to be shooting at the big targets, but Bloodletter summon does bog me down for now. And the back objective is in the hands of the dreaded Khorne dogs. So here, the Khorne dogs do overextend a little bit, and the Peasant Horsemen are going to be zerging in. We do also have some longbows, so we should be able to get rid of those nice Khorne dogs. And the middle is going to be ours. So Grand Cathay does hold the middle. Objective number 3, man, we're being roadblocked so hard. It's been taking forever for me to actually get rid of these units. A little bit of a misplay, though. I should have actually moved the Peasant Archers up onto the objective here as soon as I saw the fighting was going in my favor. Now I have to go for objective 3. Here, we're going to get a Celestial Bombardment right on the face here of these Chaos Warriors. I believe it's overcasted. Here comes the boom! Right on top of those guys, a big shot, bringing them down to half health, which is very, very good. Look, it's no pendulum, but it's certainly a very good answer against the elite troops that Khorne does bring to the table. And the Celestial dudes were able to survive, crossbow shooting up into the halberds, and we certainly have an opportunity for a triple cap here, I think. The Khorne forces are looking very, very scarce on the battlefield. We have Skarbrand the Exiled, who's very low. We have a couple halberds up here who, of course, are still a problem. But for the most part, we do have an opportunity to get the 2 Terracotta Sentinels to move up here and maybe threaten the triple cap. Now, this objective is going to be ours. The big boys, the Long Marauders up in the sky, able to push back the threats. I think Khorne had some dogs back here, which we're going to kind of mop up to make sure we don't get backcapped. The cannon seems to be shooting still, or this is the new cannon. It is up to 800 value, so it has paid for itself at least. And one of the cannonballs bouncing off the back of Skarbrand the Exiled. Halberds moving down here. Certainly going to be a very nice roadblock. Those halberds will be very cost effective here. Granted, we do have some good armor piercing shooting. And Furies are going to be going for my cannon back here, which is a great play because it's going to force me to respond to it or just like lose the cannon, which is taking pressure off like my opponent's back objective. So, taking forever to get this objective here. I was like, come on, give me the objective. But at this point, it's basically like a do or die. We have to triple cap, and Khorne coming in with Minotaurs with great weapons here in the back, which is not going to do super well against these units, especially the bow units. And Skarbrand's looking like he's on death's bed as we do get another bombardment on those halberd units. He's looking very, very low right now, but Relentless Rage is up. And is this Terracotta Sentinel like levitating? Or is he doing the Exorcist again where he like does the full 360 head spin? But Skarbrand, yeah, true Chad right here, fighting to the bitter end. And out of desperation, I do land my caster here. I get the Dragon-Blooded Lord. I'm like, get in there, take down Skarbrand, take him down, take him down. And we get the Duel of Duels. Only 900 points for my opponent to win the game, but we're trying to get up to that objective here. But Khorne is threatening very well on multiple points. Here at the back, the Minotaurs of Khorne going to be taken out, no problem. Peasant Archers plus Jade Warriors and Longbows should make pretty quick work. And the Terracotta 800 HP, Skarbrand at about 400, and down goes the Karate Chop. It looks like Skarbrand is going to be falling here. The Exiled one, exiled once again. Ladies and gentlemen, if we get this back objective right now, we are certainly in a position that we could win the game in the middle. Celestial Crossbow is going to be moving on to try and stop the Cultist. And the Hordes of Cathay are moving for the back objective, but we are slightly being blocked up here by the Chaos Warriors with halberds. While in the backfield, my Peasant Horsemen trying to fend off these Chaos Furies, but it looks like the Chaos Furies, or my halberds were, but the Furies were able to get the cannon, which sucked pretty bad. And more dual weapon warriors moving on. The objective is starting to be captured by the Peasant Horsemen, and now the Jade Warriors are going to be moving up on the objective as well. Peasant Horsemen swarming. We just got to get this. It's getting very, very tight, but in the middle, Khorne is threatening as well. The Khorne Dogs are on the objective. My Dragon-Blooded Lord and Terracotta Sentinels trying their best to wrestle the Khornate forces from that objective. It really sucks to lose that cannon right here. But hopefully we're going to be able to deal with these Minotaurs. It looks like we will. Long Marauders moving in. The triple cap is coming in, which is going to be pretty darn big. That is the only way we can win the game right now. Here comes the Long Marauders hammering into the Minotaurs of Khorne. But Khorne does have dual weapons moving onto the objective, and I really don't have too much here, just some peasants. These dual weapon warriors really could be a big threat as we go forward. And the dreaded triple cap is upon us. We do have it. The caster here getting a little bit crazy and unfortunately going to get attacked by the Khorne Dogs. But now we do have the triple cap. Khorne is going to have to recapture an objective. And this one is certainly very, very precarious here, as I don't have a lot. And I realize this pretty late, though. The Terracotta Sentinel is going to be moving up there with his speed. Furies are swarming in, and all of my forces here are breaking down. So I got such a hard-on for dealing with objective 1 that I didn't really reinforce my back objective. And despite the fact that Khorne is very, very slow, they're still moving back here, and now they're starting to get the capture weight on the objective, because capture weight for infantry is actually based on the amount of models left. So my Jade Warriors have absolutely terrible capture weight here. I summoned in some Long Marauders out of desperation to try and get a fast unit there, but they don't have capture weight. Come on, Terracotta, man, you got to get up there. If Khorne gets this objective, it's going to be tough. I might not have enough time to actually capture it back. And also, Khorne is now pressuring onto objective number 1. So pressure coming from all sides from Khorne as I get very, very close to getting back in the game here. The Doggos are swarming in. Peasants, a little bit of a lapse in micro on my part. I was so focused on this side, but the Peasants are going to get charged there by the Khorne Dogs. My Jade Warriors are trying to hold back the Khornate Warriors, but the Khorne Warriors are so superior to the Jade Warrior Infantry, who of course are based on their synergy and with other units, not necessarily like a pure combat unit. And here you can also see the Jade Warriors trying to fight back the Chaos Warrior Halberds. But Khorne is also now threatening this objective, and I do have some halberds of my own moving up, and some peasant archers going to try and liberate the situation. But Khorne does get objective number 3 as well, and I will be getting this back, but will it be quick enough? I don't think so. Here we do break down the Minotaurs, but the dual-wielding Khorne Warriors honestly are going to take like 45 minutes to get rid of here, and Khorne is probably going to be getting objective number 1 as well. So if we fast forward here, the Khornate forces continue to grind. It's pretty tight. But at the end of the road, Khorne is going to be claiming victory. GG, well played, opponent. It was a really, really fun match. Gotta go back to the drawing board a little bit. Much of that did come down to the fact that I screwed up on my back objective. I think I needed to reinforce that back objective better, because then I would have been able to afford to lose that forward objective that I had captured, and we could have been okay. So I think we would have still won on points if we had protected our back objective, but I just didn't put enough priority into it. My opponent did a great job seeing that there was a vulnerability there and sent in those dual-wielding warriors. It was beautiful, but I did like this build. I liked it quite a bit. I thought it was good. My only concern is dealing with like the big demon, because like you can tar pit him with the Furies, but if you do that, then like the Hounds and other things will really get into your lines. So maybe you need to do like a but the cannon is like what forces the issue, right? I really like the cannon opening. I just need to more effectively deal with the greater demon. That's the big problem. So I'll go to the drawing board. Maybe I'll just play with the same build a little bit more and see how I like it against a variety of players. But I think it was capable of winning there. Obviously, I made mistakes and my opponent, capitalized on them. He did a great job. But overall, yeah, really, really fun match. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that Cathay versus Khorne showdown. If you have any suggestions, do leave them in the comment section below. I'm really interested on hearing what secret strategies people have with Grand Cathay. And that's it for now. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. And that is it for now.